now 9:02 to play in the overtime. London off the field. Here's Mooney in motion with Cousins, and they're going to gun it, and it's caught. Kadarrell Hodge, 35, 30,
Take it, baby.
20, 15, 10, 5, drive home safely. Oh, my goodness.
Welcome to the game, Kadarrell. Are you serious?
A walk-off for Kadarrell Hodge and the Falcons.
Welcome to NFL Daily. Yes, we are serious. Kirk Cousins just did that. 36-30. The Falcons get it done in overtime. That was West Durham on WZGC. I am here tonight, and Dave Archer too, by the way, joined by a legend of the game, one of the best players in Bucs history. He's shaking his head right now. Gerald, I wanted to deliver a better ending for your Buccaneers here, but that was one hell of a football game that they lost tonight. Sorry about that.
Man, we as Buccaneers just don't have great fortune on Thursday night versus the Falcons, man. I said it before the game. I had us picked, but for some reason on Thursday night versus these freaking Falcons, man, we just don't have great fortune. Oh.
There's something about this Kirk Cousins Falcons team in overtime, but it's every Kirk Cousins team. It was back when he was with Washington. It's back, obviously, with Minnesota. It's these crazy primetime games he played. The difference is lately he's been winning them. What a wild ending to this game.
Yeah, you hate to see it as a Buccaneer fan, player, coach, whatever. You hate to see the way it ended, but as a fan of football, freaking incredible game. What a way to end it, man. Atlanta fought for that one. I give them that. I was like,
yeah.
When you lose those type, you just got to let them have it, man. They earned that one.
Yeah, this is seriously testing your professionalism, having to come on right after.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm a professional, so I got to do what I got to do.
Yeah, of course. Gerald McCoy on game day morning on NFL Network, the great podcast that he has with Kyle Van Noy. He's popping out on Gil's Arena over at Underdog. So he is doing it all. And yeah, we're going to break down this game bit by bit, but we got to start at the end. And I think the end of regulation is what strikes me. For a second, Falcons fans think Jesse Bates did it once again. He saved our team. This guy who's one of the best defensive players at safety I've ever seen, forces a fumble with the peanut punch while the Buccaneers are driving up 3 with under 3 minutes to go or so, and gives the Falcons another chance. And you think, oh, that's going to be the key play. But what do the Falcons do? They don't go 3 and out. They go 4 and out. They go backwards. They go for it on 4th and 15. And your former teammate, the ageless Levante David, picks off a pass. At that point, what are you thinking as a Bucs fan? Not a fan, as just a Buck.
Well, one, Levante's freaking incredible. You know, that's what he does. Very timely plays, and he was due for one. Tay was due for a pick, but you know, in that instance, you're like, well, all right, we good to go. Here we go. Way to go, Levante. Yeah, he did it. And then that happens.
Then that happens. You got Kirk Cousins on the screen behind you. Let's actually listen to our friend Gene Deckerhoff's call of that Levante David interception, which I thought was going to be the call we went into this highlight with.
Well, the Falcons are going to go for a 4th down for the 3rd time tonight. They need to reach the 35-yard line. Bucs guilty of a pass interference. The last time it was 4th and long. Dropping back to throw. Kirk Cousins has time, throws the ball up. It's intercepted, picked off by Levante David, and the Buccaneers have the football. First takeaway by the Buccaneers tonight. Levante David answers the bell again.
Yeah, that's WFUS, and that helps remind me there's under a minute and 50 seconds left at that point. I thought it was the smart decision by Raheem Morris to go for it. His 4th down decisions in this game, I think, were good overall and mostly helped him. He went for a 4th and 3 that led to a field goal around midfield in the second half. He knew it was an offensive game. He went for another 4th down in the red zone. I think that led directly to a touchdown when most people probably would have taken the points in a situation where they could have tied it up. And then there he goes for it. I think that makes sense because it gives you 2 chances to win the game. And I go back to this point because you just can't go backwards at that point. And to me, of all the mistakes you could point out, because this was a great offensive game for the most part from both these teams, both these quarterbacks, they don't go anywhere. They throw a pass that goes a little backwards, and then they have a holding call, which actually knocks them out of field goal range. It was tough to see, Gerald, because your offense is looking awesome. Baker Mayfield is playing great, and Liam Cohen, your offensive coordinator, has been on one the last couple of weeks.
I think I'm frozen. Hold on. I might have lost you. Are we back?
You're good. You're good.
Yeah, okay. I spoke about before the game. I did a couple interviews before the game, and I said that the good teams find a way to win. And the Buccaneers have been on the wrong end of these too many times. And what happens is at the end of the game, it's technique time. It's where you do your job, and you can't have untimely penalties, and everybody has to do their job, and the technique has to be right, man. It's just untimely things can cause you to lose games, and that's why they say the NFL is a game of inches, because one wrong decision, one wrong step to the right, one interception, one holding, and the game changes, and that's what happened.
Yeah, it's really crazy because you train all off season. You have all these injuries in this game. You train all week, and then it just comes down to a couple little things. That drive I was talking about, Rashid White loses 3 yards, had a big run in this game, but the running game was a little up and down. Bucky Irving had that fumble. He then picks up 7 yards, but you have a penalty on your first round pick, Graham Barton, and then they throw another pass to Rashid White that loses yardage, and they kick it off. At that point, they punt it away. At that point, the Falcons have the ball at the 20 with no timeouts, needing 3 to tie. Kirk Cousins, who, by the way, set an all-time record for Falcons passing yards with 509 yards. Yes.
It's like we wouldn't make the proper adjustments. I don't know what the heck we was doing. He was finding those holes in our zone all night. And we watched what he just did a couple weeks ago to Philly, and same thing is we got.
This one was a little different though, because man, he looked like a different Kirk, because again, it's all out of the pistol, it's all in shotgun. It's not what you used to him with play action and under center.
Right.
But he was throwing it into some tight windows. A lot of times I was like, that's good coverage, and those are just good throws that he had some great anticipation. Darnell Mooney dropped a huge one in the fourth quarter that looked like a big play, but a lot of great throws into tight windows. Drake London had a monster game. My guy from Tulane, Darnell Mooney, goes 9 for 105 and 2 touchdowns. London gets 154, but there's Kirk Cousins with the ball at the 20 when he has it there and about 1:20 left, no timeouts. What are you thinking? Are you confident your Bucs defense is going to stop him?
If I'm being honest, no. Freak, you ain't stopped them all game. So, at that point, you want to, sacks, they're drive killers, and I said before the game in the interview that Kurt is one of those people who are flammable, and that place is extremely electric. So if you let a guy like Kirk Cousins get comfortable and he gets relaxed in what he's doing, he'll kill you. 509 yards ago, we seen is you gotta what I said should happen. They got to get Kirk Cousins uncomfortable early. Get him out of his rhythm. Okay, get him uncomfortable, get him moving. That's when Kurt starts to make bad decisions. That's when Kurt starts to get flustered and be all over the place. He never got uncomfortable tonight. So you go into a final drive where he needs to get a field goal, I'm not overly confident that we're going to get this stop. Now, I'm wishing and hoping, but overly confident? No, I wasn't.
No, and they had just lost Yaya Diaby. It's worth pointing out Jordan Whitehead, their safety, got hurt in this game. They came into it already shorthanded, missing a handful of players, Kalijah Cansey, Antoine Winfield. We're talking about the best Bucs players. So I think if you're a Bucs backer, there's some positives here that you're going to get healthier on defense and your offense is looking great, but you're feeling even better if you're a Falcons fan because you've managed the beginning part of this season, which was very challenging, well, especially with these late comebacks in prime time. I would say, okay, so in that drive, Cousins goes to London for 6 yards. Then he goes to London. I'm looking at the overtime drive. He eventually he has a couple short passes, one to Mooney, one to Pitts, one to McLeod. Then he gets the ball around midfield, 3rd and 1, 21 seconds left. He throws an incompletion where Zion McCollum, who's been great all season, bats the ball down. I'm thinking there's only 12 seconds left. They are in deep trouble. Let's listen to the play call there because most of us watching are thinking they have to go to the sideline here. Instead, they go over the middle.
Snap to Cousins. He's looking to cut it loose quick. Does. In the middle of the field. That's London. 8 seconds. 7, 6. Atlanta runs to the line now. Noozle up over the football. 3, 2. Spike it. They did it with 1 to go. Wow.
That to me was the play right there. I was expecting the defensive players to just kind of get in the way. I know they didn't want to get a penalty or anything, but that thing happened fast, Gerald.
I get that, but you got to do something. Like, when you tackle them, just hold them for a second because and just hold him for just a second. Just lay on him. Like on a regular play, if you lay on a guy for too long, nobody pays any attention. So do the same. It's like he still has to get his leg free, and then boom, we got it. But again, Atlanta earned this one. They earned this win. We didn't do what was necessary to win the game, and that was another example of it. 1 second.
It was absolutely crazy. We've got a comment. If you are watching live on YouTube, send us some comments. Andre Kuna says, dude, this is amazing. Having a former player live react to the game. So proud of you, Greg. I mean, I'm proud to have on Gerald, too. A great Buck. Did they put you in the Ring of Honor yet? They got to get on that. I don't even know.
I would love if they did.
Okay. 3-time All-Pro. One of the best defensive tackles of the last 2 decades. Gerald McCoy, and someone I really enjoyed watching. But I got to admit, Gerald, the initial kernel of this idea to have you on actually came on a morning. I was on the couch with my son, and I'm thinking, I got to get someone for that Falcons-Bucs game. My son's 9 years old, and my boy Walker, he goes, you got to get Gerald. I was like, Gerald?
Hey!
I was like, oh, yeah, that would be great. And I'm like, you're on a first-name basis with him? I didn't know that. He's like, oh, I love Gerald. He's my favorite on game day morning. I'm at work at that point. I love it.
Walker, that's my guy.
Yeah, and we might hear from Walker a little later.
Yeah.
So Younghoe Koo at that point, I'm circling back to the end of regulation, nails a deep kick. It was an up and down night for Koo. He missed a short one early, and then he hits the long one to send it to overtime. He also had a field goal blocked in a situation where I thought maybe Raheem Morris would go for it on 4th and 6 in the second half. I mean, there were so many ups and downs in this game. When you're a player like in the game and there's so many swings of who's in control, and the Bucs were mostly in control in this game, but it was going back and forth in that fourth quarter. Are you guys like riding that roller coaster, or how does that feel? Because there were so many different moments in this game where I was like, oh, Falcons are going to lose. Oh, Falcons are going to win.
No, you can't, man. You have to stay even keel because it's a game of momentum shifts, and if you ride the wave, then mentally, it'll drain you for sure. So by the time the game is, when it's crunch time, you need to be at your best. You'd be so mentally drained because you're riding a wave of emotions. You can't do it. You got to stay even keel. Regardless of what happens, it's next play, interception, next play, sack, next play, incomplete, next play, first down, next play. It's a next play mentality. You have a next man up mentality. So if somebody goes down, next man up. That's how you got to play the game until it's over. So the fans, they can ride the wave of emotions. We as players, we're allowed, but we shouldn't.
Yeah.
So technically, we're not allowed to.
Right. And there were just so many ups and downs. You go back to the first half, and to me, story of the game at the time was like neither team could get any pressure. The Falcons are just sending tons of blitzes, and they're not getting near Baker Mayfield at all. And that's why it felt like it might have come down to who won that coin toss. I know they put the rule in that you got to score a touchdown, but I was like, man, I kind of like either of these teams to go score a touchdown right now. Falcons get the coin toss, they go to overtime, and then Kirk Cousins gets it done again. He ends up 42 of 58 for 509 yards, 4 touchdowns, and that interception to David. The crazy thing, Gerald, is I have some next gen stats here. He only threw 4 play action passes. He only threw 1 pass outside the pocket. So that's 57 passes. This guy is not moving. He's just sitting back there. That is surprising to me. I thought that was going to be a problem for this team, but he showed, I guess you can make it work. Can you make it work with a quarterback that immobile?
You shouldn't be able to. And it's a testament to what I said this past week on game day morning. The Bucs struggle to rush with 4, and when you blitz, you take people out of coverage. And if you do that against the wrong person, this can happen. So when you take people out of coverage and you try and rush with 4, but you're not playing great zone in the back end or great in the back end, you'll get picked apart. You shouldn't be able to throw that many times from the pocket and be able to pick somebody apart. Sometimes you have to get out the pocket, but they wasn't making Kirk move enough, and we just got to get more coordinated up front. Now, we did get to the quarterback more this week than we have in past weeks. Well, not last week, but the weeks prior to. But just sitting in the pocket like that, we got to get him off his spot, man. And that's why I said we had to get Kirk uncomfortable, and he wasn't uncomfortable back there. That's why he was just sitting back, just picking us apart.
Yeah, he ends up, finding Kadarius Hodge on that play. There was a huge third down to Drake London. Drake London is an absolute boss. I think he's kind of having his moment.
Really
tell me what you think about Drake London.
He's really good, man. You got some guys who just need the right person throwing them the ball, but somebody that's just truly skilled at what he does, great hands, really good route runner. He's just a baller, and he's consistent. That's what you want when you want looking for a guy. You need somebody who's consistent, regardless of who's throwing them the ball, and that's what Drake London has been. That's why getting a Kirk Cousins, drafting the Michael Penix so early, because you got pieces. You just got to get the right person to give him the ball. Great thing is Kirk Cousins has been playing very well, so you don't have to rush Michael Penix into the lineup. He can sit back and he can learn. But as he's learning and getting better, you got Drake London who's improving and getting better. So when Michael Penix do come into the lineup, now you got a dynamic duo that's going to be extremely scary. Add Bijan Robinson to it. And I hate that Atlanta figured out that throwing Michael Pitts the ball actually works. I hate they figured it out tonight. I wish they would have figured it out next week. Not tonight. Jeez, man.
That's the thing. Like, Kirk has been getting a little better mostly each and every week, but this was different. Yeah, you mentioned Kyle Pitts gets a 32-yard nice pass up the seam. I mean, a lot of it was just nice throws. Kirk, he's always thrown a pretty football. Yeah, Taylor Zen watching on YouTube says Kirktober is here. He has been an October monster.
Yeah.
He gets Hodge involved. Ray McLeod, who's been in the league a minute, goes 6 for 66. I mean, my guy, I've always thought Darnell Mooney is a fantastic player. He knows how to get open. He just he's kind of like a very, very, very poor man's Antonio Brown in that, like, the quarterback doesn't always know exactly where he's going to be. He's just going to be open somewhere. And so that's been a problem for him, but he was great tonight other than that drop. We should give the Bucs some love, though. So I was mentioning the first half of that game when the Falcons are sending a ton of pressure, a ton of blitzes, not getting any pressure on Baker. And Baker's back there cooking. I mean, Baker only wound up with 24 passes in this game, but very efficient, 180 yards, 3 touchdowns. They're moving the ball down the field. Your old teammate, Mike Evans, he's getting it done. Very physical, a couple touchdowns, nice routes by Liam Cohen. Like, this offense, I think, has a lot to feel good about. Bucky Irving goes 9 for 44. Rashad White goes 10 for 72. Godwin's looked better this year. Like, this is a better Bucs offense than I expected this season.
Yeah, and what it is when everybody was saying Atlanta was the favorites to win this division, it was because of how it looked on paper. And I said, there's no substitution. And that's what the Bucs have had with Baker Mayfield. See, the time put in, there was all the other rosters were new. You know, they were trying to develop timing and new guys in, new coordinators, this, and this. The Bucs have the same people, you know, and Baker, the chemistry he was able to build with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin last year and Rashad White, I knew it was going to carry over because Baker, there's nobody more dangerous than a person who has the belief of his organization or the players around him. And they believe in Baker Mayfield, and that's what he was looking for. He had a great season last year, almost won comeback player of the year. So I knew coming into this year, the offense was going to be even better. And you see in the chemistry he has with Chris Godwin over the first 5 weeks, you see Mike is just Mike. Mike has been Mike since he got in the league. But having a quarterback that you have chemistry with, that's why this offense is flowing the way it's flowing. We just couldn't get it done tonight.
Yeah, it was fantastic in the first half. They did have a 3-and-out to start the second half, and then that 3-and-out at the end in the fumble. There just was no margin for error. You can't fault an offense when they have 6 scoring drives out of 9. I mean, that the offense played well, but there was just no margin for error. It really reminded me of that Lions-Seahawks game. Suddenly, offense is back in the NFL. The difference this time is Geno kept scoring and scoring, and the Lions kept responding. There was a moment here where the Bucs offense stopped responding. The Falcons did a lot good. They made the Falcons, the Bucs defense struggle with tempo at time. That's something you can do with a veteran quarterback. But look, these two teams are 3-2. Jared, I believed in your Bucs. Before the season, I picked them to win the division for many of the same reasons you said. And I just think if you just look at their top 10 players, is like they actually are a very talented team. You know, they have a lot of high quality players. And then I thought the continuity with Todd Bowles on defense and for the offensive players, I wanted to see what Liam Cohen looked like, but I think that's worked out well. This is a fun division, the NFC South. They're both 3-2. The Saints are pretty frisky. They're going to be in Kansas City on Monday night. I want to say a message to the schedule makers. I'm sure you agree with this back when you were a player. We don't need to just put the NFC South in primetime at the beginning of the season when we're opposite baseball. We should be putting NFC South in primetime all the time. It's a good time. There's no division quite like the NFC South.
Yeah, and the crazy part is a lot of people thought the NFC South would be like one of the worst divisions going into the season. But Atlanta, they're fighters. New Orleans is better than we thought. Carolina is all over the place. But, you know, you got the Buccaneers who obviously have been playing great up to this point. Even tonight, the game was not like neither team played bad. There was just no margin for error, like you said. And I said before the game, like, we can't go kick field goals. We got to go get points versus Atlanta, especially on Thursday night. Man, I don't know what it is. There's a couple things. Atlanta on Thursday night and our It's something about those creamsicle jerseys and like Atlanta on Thursday night with the Buccaneers, man. It's just, I don't know what it is, man. I don't believe in curses or anything like that, but it ain't been great for us over the last 10 or so years.
Well, you get a chance to, maybe put the creamsicles on and beat Atlanta back in Tampa. I don't know. Later in the season, that'll end up being a good.
Please
good
don't
game.
wear them.
Okay,
I'm not an advocate for them. We losing them. Stop wearing them. And the funny thing is, the Glazers are superstitious. So if we keep losing in these, stop wearing them, please.
I love it. All right. So before we let you go here, I do have a couple little items. I did want to give some love, again, to your former teammate who, man, he's building a Hall of Fame case like you did during your career. Let's listen to Mike Evans have a big-time noteworthy touchdown earlier in this game.
Now the Bucs line up in a shotgun set with 2 receivers wide to the left, 1 to the right. Baker Mayfield, belt high snap, looks, throws the ball toward the end zone. He's got Evans. He's got it. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Evans has 2. Welcome to Atlanta, number 13, doing his thing.
That's 100 career touchdowns, Gerald. 100.
I know. That was that was a cold-blooded route. And Mike is funny, man. Mike do some stuff where you like, Mike, that didn't mean nothing to you. He was like, whatever. I just, Mike always shrug everything off, but he really loves what he does. He puts the work and time in. He learned from a great mentor, Vincent Jackson. Rest in peace to Vincent Jackson. He taught him how to be what we used to call the ultimate pro, which is what Vincent Jackson was. When Mike first came into the league, he was a chubby kid from Texas. A big body, could play the game. He was just a little chubby, fat face. Then he realized, okay, let me get my body in shape. Let me take care of myself so I can play longer. I can sustain this level of play for a long period of time. And that's what Mike has done. He's a measure of consistency. If you need consistency, put Mike Evans' picture right next to it. And he's just been incredible, man. And he said that he wanted his 100th catch. The ball, he wanted his 100th catch, receiving touchdown. I mean, that was his 100th touchdown, but he wants his 100th receiving touchdown. That's the ball he's going to keep because he just keep giving the ball away.
Okay, that's a good point. There was I think a fumble recovery touchdown in there. Yeah, it's badass. It's one of the cool things about the Bucs that Vea's been there for a while. Mm-hmm. Godwin, you were with Godwin for a couple of years too.
CG14 is his freshman, his rookie year. I was there. Yeah,
and he's consistent, and it's really been cool actually because I really loved him in his first few years in the league, just what he could do after the catch, and you could tell the injuries for a couple of years affected him, but he looks like he's all the way back. He's in a contract year. He's going to get paid again like that. They are a lot to deal with. They were missing actually their number 3 and number 4 receivers tonight, and then another receiver went down. So like I said, I think both of these teams get out of the first 5 games of the season feeling pretty good. I mentioned my buddy Walker, speaking of Mike Evans, my son Walker is a fan of yours, and so it's his bedtime. He's gone. We're not letting him stay up to watch the end of the game or watch this show. But he did want to send a little message to you. So we're going to listen to that now, Gerald.
Hi, Mr. McCoy. I like your show on Sunday mornings, and I have a question for you. Is Mike Evans going to be in the Hall of Fame? From Walker.
I love it, man. I love it. I'm a dad's dad. I'm a family man to my core. I got 5 kids, man, and I was just at a carnival earlier with my 10-year-olds and my 5-year-old. So, man, hearing that little voice here from Walker, and Walker, to answer your question, yes. I think we questioned whether Mike Evans should be in the Hall of Fame or not. And the question should he be a first ballot or not?
Sure, I like that.
Mike Evans for sure is a Hall of Famer. Walker, you are a Hall of Famer. From Gerald and his family to you guys, we love you so much, Walker. And I definitely appreciate your question and all your love and your support.
Yeah, he's a big fan, and he's going to have smile ear to ear when we wake up tomorrow, and I'll play him that. That is awesome. Tough night for your Bucs. Appreciate the professionalism. The very last thing we're going to do here, Gerald, is we actually are going to give a little bit of love to someone you went against. I do on this night where they honored Matt Ryan. We are just going to listen to just one little clip from a guy that you faced off against.
To the Falcons fans, Atlanta has become my home. You have become my extended family. I want you to know it was the thrill of a lifetime to be your quarterback. Every day I was trying to be the best I could for this organization and for you. I will never have another job that I love as much as the one I had here.
That's cool. It makes me feel old to see like Matt Ryan up there and Roddy White.
Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, you're good.
Oh yeah. For some reason, it kicked me out. But whatever. I'm sorry. I'm back.
No worries. So that's a guy, Matt Ryan, that you went against. It's making me feel old a little bit. That Matt Ryan's going to the Ring of Honor and Roddy White's up there. And do you have any Matt Ryan, facing off against Matt Ryan? What that was like? Story.
Yeah, I love Matty Ice, man, and calling him Matty Ice is like a cardinal sin for a for a rival, and for an opponent. But I love him to death. Matt Ryan's one of the best competitors I ever faced. And Matt Ryan is actually where I learned the term flammable. I used to use he's flammable, man, and he was one of those people when he gets started. If you don't stop him early, he's flammable, especially in that building. And that's why I knew that building is so electric. Who's ever at quarterback? And I faced off against two guys that were there at the same time. I faced off against him and Roddy White, but also freaking Julio Jones. So I had to deal with all that over my time in Tampa, man. But Matty Ice, everything he's getting, he deserves. He for sure should put on that gold jacket with Mike Evans, along with Julio Jones and my buddy Levante David. And it's just been it was a great run playing against Matty Ice. Actually, when my last game as a Buccaneer was versus the Falcons, and I had a feeling, wasn't too sure if I was coming back or not, but I had like a little inkling. So I told Matty Ice, I said, hey, listen, this may be my last time in the NFC South. Can I have your jersey? And he signed it for me. I got Matt Ryan's jersey, man. And freaking incredible career as an Atlanta Falcon. Love competing against Matty Ice.
Yeah, I mean, I just think of how he came into the league. I remember his very first game, him having this crazy drive at the end to get it done. And that was his career. Although I got to say, not to annoy both fan bases here, when the Bucs backed up out of field goal range in that spot, it reminded me so much of the Falcons Super Bowl after Julio made that catch that should go down in history as one of the greatest catches of all time, and that one of the greatest throws of all time in the Super Bowl, and they're in field goal range and they're probably going to win it, and then they get a holding penalty to back them up, and they give the Patriots another chance, and that kind of happened to your Bucs tonight. They give the Falcons the other chance, and hey, the new Matty Ice, Kirko Chains, he's swag surfing out there. He's clutch, and it's gonna be a fun year in the NFC South. We'll be watching you, Gerald. Listen to your podcast with Kyle Van Noy at Yahoo. Check him out. Game Day Morning.
Yahoo Sports. Check us out every Tuesday. NFL Game Day Morning. Every Sunday morning. Best show on TV. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you.
Walker's favorite, Gerald McCoy. And this was an awesome game on Thursday night. We will be back on NFL Daily on Friday. It's the Pick Show with Cynthia Freeland. And then, of course, we will be there on Sunday for all your recap needs. Until then, hey, when Kirko Chains is throwing for 500 yards, you know football is back. See you next time.
Yeah, for sure, man. Congratulations to them. Oh, don't get used to it, though. We're going to get back. Trust me.